Now today is a nice sunny day, but it's also a very windy day. And what I wanted to talk to you about today was wind buffeting. What is it and why does it occur? Now, wind buffeting occurs when we put an obstacle between ourselves and the wind. When I'm riding my bike without this little screen on it, I'm just getting clean air onto my body, all at the same pressure level. As soon as I put a screen in front of my body, I'm blocking the air in this section behind the screen and my body. Now that makes it a lot easier to ride the motorcycle because there's less pressure on my body and it's easier to sit on the bike. But what it also does is create two different levels of air pressure. So behind the screen, I've got a lower air pressure because it's protected from the oncoming wind. And what happens is the air pressure coming onto the screen and then onto your helmet and your body from this point up is at a higher pressure than the air below the top of the screen. And this line that comes through here, where the two pressures meet, the low pressure and the higher pressure above the top of the screen, is where all the air turbulence is generated. And it's generated in such a way that as the air comes away from the screen, it's pretty smooth and even, and the closer it gets to the rider, the more turbulent it gets. And that's when you get the buffeting on your helmet after fitting a screen. Now, one of my viewers recently let me know that he changed the angle of his Indian Chief screen and that reduced the turbulence onto his helmet. When he told me that, I decided to try that experiment and see what would happen with this screen. Now, normally this screen sits out further away from the rider. It's more upright and the top of the screen's out at about here. But I've changed the way it mounts onto the forks here, which brings the top of the screen back closer to me. Now, if I ride my motorcycle with this screen on, I do get turbulence on my helmet. With the screen in the standard position, tilted away from me and more upright, I get more turbulence. And when the screen is rotated back towards me, I get less turbulence. It doesn't go away, it's not eliminated at this height, but it is less. And that's because I'm moving myself closer, or I'm moving the screen closer to me. And that turbulence that is sort of more pronounced back here is less when I'm forward or the screen is closer to me. And you can do that experiment yourself. If you're riding along, just see where the turbulence is hitting you, and then move yourself forward towards the screen. And you'll see that as you get closer to the screen, the turbulence is less. So what can we do to overcome turbulence? Well, one thing you can do is to put a taller screen on, which puts the turbulence at a higher level. And the higher you go, you can get the turbulence to go over the top of your head if the screen's tall enough. The other thing you can do is to put a flared windshield on. And what that does is, rather than the turbulence coming at you at this angle, the flare changes the angle so it comes up and then back. And in a lot of cases, it can give you enough just to get that turbulence going over your head. Now, these screens and the flared screens aren't eliminating turbulence. They're just changing where it's coming onto your body, specifically onto your helmet. That's where it's most annoying. So I think that's pretty well all I need to say on this topic. The buffeting is coming from turbulence being generated by the two different air pressures being created by adding a screen. No screen, on this bike in particular, I get a clean flow of air onto my helmet. I get a lot of air pressure, and it does get tiring after a while, holding yourself against that air pressure. But the air's clean from, top to bottom, and there's no turbulence. It's just nice, clean whoosh of air over my helmet. As soon as I add this screen, I get turbulence because it starts off smooth here, but as it gets closer to me, it exaggerates, and that's when I get buffeting on my helmet. So to fix it, A, remove the screen. If you remove the screen, fit a backrest to help hold you up against the wind. That's one option you can do. The second option you can do is to fit a taller screen to get that turbulence to go over the top of your head. And the third thing you can do is perhaps a taller screen and then a flared screen to help kick it up and then back over the top of your head. All right, I think that'll do it for this video. I hope you found this useful. I hope the wind hasn't mucked up my audio because it's super windy. I've been sitting with my back to the wind microphone here, so hopefully it's been all right. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye for now.